Hello, everyone. Welcome back to AFRO News at Noon, where we give you a lunchtime bite of news. This is our second episode, and we're so happy to be chopping it up with you on this marvelous Monday. And as with each episode, we're going to give you a little idea about some of the stories that we have this week and possibly some surprises at the end. So without further ado, hello team. How are you all today?
Hey,
We're doing great. Wonderful.
Yes, I love the word wonderful and great. And everyone just seems like we're in a great mood on this Monday. So I think it's time to just hop right on into what we know, which is our weekend wow, where we just share a little brief moment about what was exciting over the weekend. So who wants to start?
I'll go first.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, Rev, you always go first.
No, because I usually don't have a thing for the weekend. But this weekend, I got to spend a few minutes with some wonderful people from Jubilee Prayer Ministry. And I got to talk to them about prayer and what it is to me and how it all starts with the fact that God loves us. So that was my wow for the weekend. That was really great.
I know that's right.
That's awesome. What about you, Jess?
Well, my weekend was very peaceful. So I live with my sister, and this weekend she attended a baby shower up in New York. So she drove up, and so I just had the house to myself. I was just chilling, doing my thing. Okay, it was beautiful, and I just slept. You know, sometimes you just need to sleep. I just slept, so I'm happy. What about you, Megan?
My weekend, I watched my friend's dog, so it wasn't the most peaceful. They're young, so they're a little crazy, but it was nice because I got to stay like out of my house and kind of have some time to myself, and I made some progress in the book that I'm reading. So I'm happy about that. What about you, Misha?
My weekend was wonderful. It was a little bit busy, but I had the opportunity to cover Black Thought at the Kennedy Center for his. I guess it started as a pandemic podcast, but it's so much more than that. Streams of Thought from Black Thought, and he's interviewing artists of all types. And he interviewed West Baltimore native Devin Allen, who everybody knows because he was instrumental in his photography during the Freddie Gray protests and risings, really, that occurred. And he was able to capture really just the unity that came out of all of that and the amazing people who were on the front lines. And he said something that was so powerful, which is that he felt like his career was built on the broken back of Freddie Gray. And I almost just broke out into tears because it was. Yeah. It was. But also just to hear his story, young man at only 30, been featured in Time magazine, been featured in the cover of all of these really reputable publications simply because he picked up a camera to tell the story of his people. Mm-hmm. And it was just truly inspiring. So yeah, that was my weekend. Wow. What about in the news? Anybody have any news wows that they'd like to share from the weekend? I know Rev said that there was one that performed well on social media for us.
We have an update in the Henrietta Lacks story. You know, Henrietta Lacks story. We're trying to give as much coverage as we can to that. So Ralph Moore did a story about his personal experience with that situation, and of course updated us on the history. And then this week we come back with coverage from Deborah Bailey on the movement in the family's lawsuit concerning that. So be sure to check it out.
Nice. Megan, I know you had some stuff to share as well.
Yeah, so I just recently kind of worked with Civic, which is a nonprofit in Baltimore, and they just reached their 1,000th graduate. And basically what they do is they really focus on kind of providing job opportunities and job training to people that face racialized barriers to employment. And they train them in different like high-paying careers, especially like within construction and things like that, like solar energy installation, weatherizing homes. And they leverage like partnerships with places like BGE and provide them with job opportunities after. But their whole goal is to provide family-sustaining careers and kind of just trying to make the job market in Baltimore more equitable.
That's great work that they're doing. Anything else, Jess? I don't know if you had some news that you wanted to share after your restful weekend, as it could have been.
Yes. And I hate to be, the Debbie Downer of the group, but we had 3 shootings here in Baltimore over the weekend and 1 fatality. So all of them, I mean, South Baltimore was just popping. So we had the shootings occurring in Southwest and in Southeast. And it was just crazy, out of control. Young people too. So it's just, I mean, that's where we are. But, we are working on it. Our mayor has a plan to combat these violent crimes happening. So, but still, this is our reality. And it's, a lot of people's reality. Somebody woke up, and didn't have their loved one. Their loved one was no longer with them. So it's still a problem. We still got to get these guns off the street and, move toward peace, really. Yeah.
Yes, I love that move towards peace. And you're right. There are a lot of folks who have experienced loss in so many ways, right? But I think one thing that I love about the AFRO is that we celebrate the resilience of our people. And so we have yet another special edition. We're still here. Special edition coming up this week. Rev, can you just tell the people a little bit about this month's We're Still Here?
Well, we're going to keep them coming because we are still here, and only the Lord knows how we're still here after all that we have been through and continue to go through. But this month, our focus is on body, mind, and spirit. We are whole people. We want to be well in every aspect of our being. And so that's what we're focusing on. And a major feature of that is that we're going to carry stories of people who have survived, people who have overcome. If you have something that you have been through that you didn't even think you were going to make it through, but you did, send us your story. Send it to editor@afro.com. If you know somebody who has been victorious over addiction, over domestic violence, over extreme weight challenges and all of that, we'd love to tell those stories, because not only do they make us well by telling the stories, but they strengthen other people, because the Bible says you overcome by the word of your testimony. Throwing it back.
Wow. So, Grab, you need to get on that piano behind you.
Okay. I gotta praise.
It's true. It's true.
That's right.
No, we are talking about mind, body, spirit. Jess, anything else you want to share about the special edition before I give my pitch?
Well, honestly, I love this topic. At first, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. But, when we started getting into the weeds of it and started, really breaking it down, I was like, this is great. This is information people need to know, because in this global pandemic that we're in, a lot of challenges have been coming up against our mind, our bodies, and our spirit. So I think that, this information is so crucial. And I know that so many people will benefit from these testimonies, like Rev was saying, of, especially like the overcomers and people who have faced challenges that so many people are going through, and some even more now, that COVID has hit and everything like that. So I'm excited. And I know we got some great things in store. So, stay tuned.
We do. We definitely do. And I know Megan can't share too much, but do you just want to add a little bit about the special edition?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I really like the topic. I find it very interesting. And again, I think it's nice to be able to kind of like have stories of hope, like especially with the survival stories. Like it's just showing people that, you can get through it, and just kind of celebrating our perseverance and things like that. But I will be kind of touching on a little bit with the pandemic and some of the long-term effects, especially with mental health and things like that. But I'm just kind of excited to share people's stories and what they've overcome and how we can continue to overcome things.
Yes, yes. I love that we are pushing, continuing to overcome. And so with that, y'all, I have to give you my pitch, which is that I'm working on a piece where we're looking and examining on what people would ask if they could ask God one question. What would that one question be? And so we're asking people, just as we're asking for survivor stories, we're asking people to submit that one question, just one, that burning question that you'd have for God. And so if you can submit that to mgreen@afro.com, M green like the color at afro.com, I'd really appreciate it. And I think we all would, just to have our own minds expand in terms of what people are thinking about in their spiritual journey and beyond. So this has been a really fun planning session for We're Still Here, guys. What do y'all think?
I agree.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And so we're also doing, as part of our We're Still Here special edition, we have some awesome things coming for the digital week as well. As you all know, of course, you have your Afro news story at noon every single day, on top of our Afro News at Noon episode, which you're watching now on Mondays. But we also have Chicken Box this coming Thursday, and we'll be talking about this survivor stories as well as this one question we have for God that will all sort of be in this episode. Megan, do you want to share what's coming up for you in the digital week?
Absolutely. So tomorrow, the next episode of my podcast will be out. Pleasure doing business with you. And I am speaking with one of the founders of Curl Mix, and they make a clean, natural hair care products. And I mean, honestly, the conversation was great. I love talking to Tim. He founded the company with his wife, who is also his high school sweetheart. So they've been together a very long time. It's exciting. They've been on Shark Tank. He's been on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. They have a very interesting story. So definitely check it out.
There's so much goodness happening. Rev, Jess, anything y'all want to add before we wrap up for today?
I'm good.
Don't forget
Rev, you have
Ralph's column. I have no idea what it's about yet, but his column will be out on Wednesday.
We know it's going to be something good. He always has some great takes on things happening in the world around us. And he's such a wise man. So please, as Rev teased earlier, check out his piece from last week on Henrietta Lacks, and stay tuned for the column, The Moore Report, this Wednesday. And of course, as always, stay tuned for everything that the Afro has to offer. Become a member by subscribing on www.afro.com. Follow us on all things at Afro News. You can't change us. That's who we are. So if you put in that at Afro News for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Am I missing anything? I don't think so. YouTube. We come on up. We're also on Afro Media Suite. I know y'all who are watching on YouTube are like, why does it say Afro Media Suite? Yeah, that's us. But yes, we are at Afro News. So please stay tuned for everything we have to offer. It'll be good as the Black Media Authority. And we appreciate you all tuning in. Submit to editor@afro.com for those survivor stories. mgreen@afro.com for that one question for God. And subscribe to www.afro.com. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody.